This is Film Focus with Emily Cook.
I'm here in Dave Armstrong's studio, and Dave is the director of The Watchmaker's Apprentice, a film which has been made on the Isle of Man over the last few years. So in a nutshell, what's The Watchmaker's Apprentice about?
The Watchmaker is a film about a relationship between two great craftsmen. George Daniels, who had the pleasure to meet, was I suppose once classed as the world's greatest watchmaker. He was able to make a watch from start to finish, every single component. And it's about the quest of another man, Roger Smith, to become his apprentice over many years. And I suppose against the odds in a way, because George Daniels didn't want an apprentice. He worked on his own. He made one watch every year, and never really wanted an apprentice. He thought they would get in the way, and he didn't really have time. But Roger persevered, and although he was rejected on a couple of occasions, he persevered and made a watch that impressed George so much that George took him on to be his one and only apprentice. And now Roger Smith is, I suppose in the watch world, I suppose what you call a force to be reckoned with. Roger's like a sort of rock god of watchmaking of the 21st century. And he, like George, is a superb craftsman. They are works of art. They are beautiful. And the film follows their relationship and how it developed. And it's a great human interest story, whether you're into watches, whether you like watches or not. It's a story about two people and their relationship, succeeding against the odds in a very, very difficult industry where you have to learn 30 or so skills to become a master watchmaker. And they both did that.
I was fortunate enough to watch the film with you in London a few weeks ago at Salon QP at the Saatchi Gallery. And what you said about Roger Smith being a rock star of the watch industry, he completely is. People are surrounding him, they're completely in awe of him. Was that what you expected when you set out to make the film?
No.
Where did the idea come from?
Yes, so the original idea was to create a series of vignettes, and then we discovered this whole other world and this relationship that we didn't know anything about. And we were very, very fortunate. George when we met him, was obviously quite old and not very well, and we were just very, very lucky. The first couple of times we tried to interview him, he just wasn't well enough.
I'm now very ancient, unable to remember everything I hear.
George was a very strong man, you will see if you watch the film. He it's just the description of someone that conquered a lot of ailments and just battled through. And when we did manage to meet him, and we only had a short time with him, but it felt like we'd spent an enormous amount of time with him. We just suddenly gained so much by that one fortunate interview that we managed to get.
Well, when you watch the film, it doesn't seem like one interview. It seems like so much content over a long period of time that you had this access to him.
We were just, as I say, very fortunate, and then very fortunate to gain access to his workshop so I could play.
Get the beauty shots. It is beautifully shot, Dave. It really is.
I had such fun in there, and I was just so lucky. I was let loose filming everything from old oil cans to old telephones on the shelf, to all the little shavings of watches, to all the tiny little pieces and all the handmade tools. There was some obviously industrial equipment in there, but handmade tools and tools of every single description. I mean, I could have spent weeks in there.
It is beautifully shot. I mean, Mark Kermode commented on how beautifully shot it was, didn't he?
Well, thank you, but I could hardly fail to make things of such beauty look anything than they are. I mean, I
think plenty of people could manage to make them not look so beautiful. But it is a wonderful film to watch, and it's exquisite. Some of those shots and the shallow depth of field, and in some shots you've created a sense of dust and magic that have been put on in post-production.
Christy D. Haven, who edited the programme, she always had this vision that it was a sort of magical relationship, almost fairy tale-like in its nature, with this master watchmaker and this young apprentice. I'm hoping we've captured some of that magic, but it was such a great and fascinating subject matter that I hope we've done it justice.
I think you absolutely have. As well, you got John Rhys Davies on board to do the narration. He must have seen the beauty in the story, and was that how you got him on board?
Well, yes, and also because we wanted to have an actor and a voice that would convey the sort of depth and sometimes poetic nature of the script that was crafted by, not just by the team, but by our friend and colleague Roy McMillan, who crafted an amazing script and narration. And of course, to do that justice, you needed a voice that could do it justice. And John has just got such a fantastic voice and such depth. We're just very lucky to have managed to put those pieces together.
The turning hands on a watch are symbols for the revolutions that spin out man's span. It is man that ends, but his works can endure.
If anybody out there wants to buy a copy or watch the film themselves, how do they go about doing that?
Well, if you can kindly give them a link to the Vimeo link to the trailer, which will give them a little flavour of the film. And then if you like the film enough, it is available on Amazon.
Excellent, that's really brilliant. And with Christmas coming up, what more could anybody want for Christmas than a copy of your film?
Well, there is actually one thing.
What?
One of Roger Smith's watches.
Oh yes, okay, yes. A copy of the film and a watch. That would be ideal.
Unfortunately, we can't give a watch away.
No.
Be sold.
Well, thank you very much, Dave, for joining me, and I will look forward to watching the film a fourth time in the next few weeks. So, yes, lovely to see you, Dave.
Will you cry again?
I will cry again. Thank you for adding that.
Thanks for listening to Film Focus with Emily Cook. Happy movie going!